again, we used to build shit in this country that was cool and it was functional and people gave a shit where it came from. All right, so here, Milwaukee, Miller Park got put up back in the late 90s. So before that, we had Milwaukee County Stadium. These seats came out of Milwaukee County Stadium. I couldn't see them go anywhere, and that's a prime example of something that has a lot of significant importance to somebody, or even just like here in Milwaukee, our history and our tradition. So there's a lot of history behind these seats. You know, think about the hundreds of people that sat and watched ball games. Anybody that comes in this conference room that grew up here in Milwaukee knows exactly what they're looking at. This is a unique piece here, a windshield wiper display that we have in here. So just Americana. And so my brother went and looked at a job. It was like a quarter, it was like a half to 3/4 trailer. They told the lady he would do it for a quarter trailer because he wanted this piece so bad. And then we got it, and now it's just filled a couple other things. We have these lights. They're like Railroad E, and where our business is located here in Butler, Wisconsin, there's a huge railroad depot right next to us. So this was like where all the lines are connected, and it was a big deal, the rail yard, and really built this town that we're in now. The other thing is this, like these old just drawer systems like this, we love them. We love to keep them as they are. A lot of people still use these. They're very functional. We don't have anything in them, but we just think they're really cool. Like someone, you know, like this was their livelihood at some point. Like at some point they sat here, and whether it's nuts, bolts, screws, whatever it was, like they knew every inch of this whole thing. And again, like it could just go in the scrapyard with ease, right? And I can go buy a piece of furniture. But to me, there's a story, there's a history behind this, and now we have an opportunity just to embrace it as a piece. Like that's interesting. Oh yeah, dude. All right, so this is the old Toledo Scales. My brother and I got one years ago. We now have 4 Toledo Scales like this. This one here came out of our warehouse here in Butler. We got one out of the VA, and we got one out of somewhere else. I don't even know. This one here in particular was measuring product that came in and out of the facility that we bought, which was owned by Ben's Oil, and before that, Philmite Oil. It's cool, like the mechanicalness. Like again, we used to build shit in this country that was cool and it was functional, and people gave a shit where it came from, right? Like Toledo Scale, made from Toledo. We used to make things in this country and we took pride in them, and now everything's just disposable. So I want to hold on to the fact that we are very capable as a human race and as a country of making things and taking pride in everything that we do. And so I want to honor that tradition by everything we look at here in this warehouse. This is actually one of my favorite pieces, probably in the whole warehouse. Like this was a guy's toolbox. Like you open it up here, it's still got grease in it. It's still got that stank to it. Like you can't smell it, but if you've ever been in an old machine shop and you can see this oil, like you know what this smell is. He went to work every day. Like this was his livelihood. This is the way that we used to, you know, show up every day and work. It's a cool piece. Like it doesn't have, like I don't have to have this like robust story to appreciate the craftsmanship that we put into it. And it was important to them. And so whoever that person was, we're honoring them in some way by continuing to display it. AMA 3120, sounds like a union shop. But here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you know it's old because it was WIS, right, before we were WI. Oh yeah, these are all, dude, I grew up on Tonka Toys. These are all old Tonka Toys. I think they're cool as shit. But it's just cool that they have them. Like somebody kept those for all those years. I mean, if you give it to the kid right now, they'd probably need a tetanus shot with them. And so they're cool enough. Like I grew up playing with trucks like this. Again, they're steel and it's rusty treasure. I love it everywhere. All right, but moreover, the centerpiece, literally the centerpiece of our kitchen, is this stove. This stove came out of a house on like 60th and Burleigh on the northwest side of Milwaukee. Our first like year in business, the old lady, she passed away. Her niece hired us to clean the house out. She said that her aunt cleaned out the stove every day. We had this stove before we even had this building. And then when we designed this space, we're like, yep, gotta have it. So it's just really cool. Like even when you turn on the burners, like just lights up. Like it's just, again, this is when things were like built a certain way. Like it's got this like 1950s, 1960s chrome vibe to it. It's just cool. It's a cool piece. Like anybody could have just bought a stove. It's not the best stove in the world, right? Ain't no doubt about it. But it's cool and it works. I gotta give it to the lady. She cleaned it every day, and now we get to enjoy it further because she gave a shit. Yeah, so here's a bunch of stuff, just again, random stuff throughout the building. Savannah Bananas. Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas, one of the best companies in America. I'm gonna go right there and just say it's one of the best companies in America. I grew up loving hockey and loving the Milwaukee Admirals. But it's like all the things I wanted as a kid growing up, and I valued and I cherished, and it's like I didn't get it as a kid, or maybe I did, whatever, and now I come across it and I was like, oh, I want to have it. But at the end of the day, it's stuff. So the whole idea behind it is to surround yourself with things you love and then live this fulfilling life. Favorite piece in this whole office though is this right here. Came out of a shop in West Allis, Wisconsin on 72nd and Greenfield. This old guy passed away. We cleaned out his shop, hundreds and hundreds of artifacts we came across, and this is one piece I kept, which is success is 99% failure. Important to remember that, right? We go through life, you get up, you fall down, you get up again. It's fucking life, right? The worst thing you can do is stop falling down, right? It's cool to surround yourself with stuff you love, but don't let it be bigger than who you are and where you're going, right? It's all about being content with where you're at, but not comfortable where you're not willing to go to the next level.